Hey everyone, my name is Braydon Turato Brooks. I'm the founder and owner of Creative Overhaul, a podcast management agency looking to connect valuable information with ambitious individuals. Today, I'm going to be going over how to start a podcast from scratch and everything in between. The problems that we face creating this one, the things you need to know before starting, and we have a ton of history building podcasts, but this past week was the first time that we were able to put ourselves into a host's shoes and start our own. So we have a couple steps here that we're going to be running through. We're going to gloss over a couple steps, not go super in depth with everything, because over the next few weeks, we'll be touching upon every single point in depth. So the first one is a little bit more general, but understanding how podcasts work. So, if you don't understand the value of podcasting, it's going to be very hard for you to sit here like I am, record 20, 30, 40 minutes of content. What are you going to do with that, and why sit through that? So, the first thing is, of course, if you're a business and you're already creating content on social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, Snapchat, LinkedIn, all of these platforms, podcasting can be another one that allows you to reach a market that you haven't reached yet. And because of this, for example, Instagram is predicated on photo, video. Facebook is predicated on, I would say, almost everything: photo, video, status updates, which would be text. Twitter is primarily text. TikTok is short form video. YouTube is long form video. LinkedIn is text. And podcasting, although it is long form video content, it hits a whole different market, which is primarily audio content, which, if you're not in the music industry or haven't started podcasts before, this is an entirely different market to hit. And this is great. This is something that, for example, if you're working with high ticket, high value individuals, for example, um, lawyers, accountants, real estate agents, people that sell big ticket items or big ticket services, this might be the way for you to go. And to outline a couple more benefits of podcasting here, um, as I mentioned before, we just started this podcast a week ago. We know how to build it from before an episode records and after an episode is done recording, but we have not started our own podcast until now. So, in terms of having experience to start, in reality, we're going to be sharing with you all of the experience we really had in terms of getting in front of a camera was our first episode. So it's very easy to learn on the way, as well as because it's easy for you, there's something there makes it even easier for our listeners to consume it, whether they're driving to and from work, whether they're doing chores around the house. Um, this is something very easy to consume, whether you have headphones, a speaker. Again, if you just have speakers in your car, it's very easy to just put on a podcast and listen to. Most of them are free. It's not like you're purchasing a book or purchasing someone's course or subscribing to a certain social media platform. Most podcasts are going to be free, including this one. And for a great statistic for you to understand is podcast listeners are listening and giving attention to you and your podcast more than almost any platform. And the statistic is mind-boggling for me is 52 52% of podcast subscribers listen to the entire episode. And that's around 20, 30 minutes of consistent listening. So, in terms of you trying to get a point across, like I'm trying to right now, or trying to sell a product or service, or just trying to educate the public or any listeners that you have on, for them to be able to listen to all of your content is something that we just don't get in 2022. So, take advantage of this while you can for sure. If you understand all of those things, we can move on to the next point, which is understanding more about or identifying your podcast theme and your format. So, the first question to ask yourself is, what is your goal for the podcast? And throughout all these questions, I will share ours so that you understand more about how to answer this question. So for our goal is to get more eyes on our brand Creative Overhaul. But as well, we want to hear some great stories about other hosts or people that are aspiring to be podcast hosts using the information we're sharing, like through episodes like this, for the better. We want to be changing the way that podcast hosts look at podcasts and helping them along the way. So you guys don't have to go through the exact same mistakes. The next question to ask yourself is why? Again, at the beginning, we were talking about sitting through 20 to 30 minutes of recording. You need to understand the value of it. But why do that? So the reason why we're doing it is because it's providing us another avenue of content. Again, we already explained this to you earlier. This is something that we haven't explored yet, which is primarily audio content. It allows us to provide value in a totally different, packaged up in a totally different way, as well as to show current and future clients that we may have how much we believe in the service we provide, which is very unique to us because we manage podcasts as a service. So we started a podcast to show you how much we believe in the service that we're providing. The third question is who is the show for? If you know exactly who you're trying to target, this is going to help you later on identify your market and how to market your product or service and your audio and video. So for us, our show is for anyone who is interested in starting a podcast or they've already started a podcast and want to learn more about our experiences and the feedback that we have through the mistakes and lessons that we've learned throughout the way. The last question you're going to want to ask yourself is how will your show stand out in front of all of the others? And for us, I've explained it a little bit already, which is we've chosen a niche that isn't too competitive, which is promoting a service that we provide, which is building podcasts, sharing that knowledge through podcasts. But also, we have a very unique position because we're currently doing that. This is live. This is today. I'm recording this as of today, which means that if some new news comes out and the podcasting realm changes, that's things that I can explain to you live versus pre-recorded content or everybody having to learn on their own. This is something that I can teach you through the exact same medium that you want to share through. So that though, if you can answer those four questions, you're gonna make your way very, very fast into being able to create your podcast brand, which is your third question or third point to talk about. So I'm gonna rattle off a couple different things here, which is what do you want the format of your podcast to be? Do you want to be interviewing other people in your industry to learn more? Do you want to have a co-host that helps you do interviews? Um, are you gonna do it by yourself? I guess that's the other way of routing it. Are you gonna be just talking about industry news on a weekly basis, daily basis, bi-weekly basis? Are you gonna be providing educational content like we are? Are you going to script it, or are you going to go off the top of your head? For us, I don't necessarily want to be doing interviews as of now. I believe this is more of a self-reflection platform for us. In terms of a co-host, that's not something that we're going to be doing for now. And we're going to be doing a little mix between reporting some news and providing educational content with a little bit of jotting notes or having a little bit of a script. How long do you want them to be? At the end of the day, for me, it doesn't matter how long it is because it is a self-reflecting avenue. So if it takes 20 minutes to explain a point, then that's how long it's going to go. If it's going to take 45 minutes, then that's how long it's going to go. How often? For us, we're going to try 3 times a week. Naming your podcast can be something that takes a long time to think about. It actually took us about 30 to 40 minutes until we figured out it doesn't really matter. Then again, if the idea is for you to build a brand centered around yourself, then maybe you should put your name into it. If it's trying to promote a business, then maybe you should put your business name into it. And it should accurately convey the knowledge that you're trying to share. Um, So if you're going to be doing true crime, you don't want it to seem as if you're providing motivational content. Um, and which category are you going to be talking about? So again, I'll be talking directly about podcasts, and sharing knowledge with current clients about current clients, and sharing educational content for potential clients and anybody that is looking to be a podcast host at all. Um, and then I guess the last little piece here is cover art. Again, I'm really against putting all these walls in front of you to not get started. But if you're somebody that is artistic or creative in any sense of graphic design, then cover art can be something that draws a lot of attention to your existing platform. Number 4 is choosing your podcasting equipment. So there's a lot of different professional microphones. They got all of these different settings and sensitivities and volume settings, and they're supposedly going to be giving you much better audio quality, range of motion, everything. For us, I'm using an existing USB microphone. I'm not using the built-in one off my laptop. I purchased a USB mic for about $50 to $100 online. And then again, if this is going to stand in between you and starting the podcast, I want you to negate this part of the conversation entirely. I would say that if the equipment is going to hold you back from starting, then don't worry about it. You can get a long ways by using this camera, your iPhone, and using your mic, iPhone. So at the end of the day, don't let this get in your way. You can always improve over time, just like we are. If this quality of the camera does not cut it for us, we're going to change it. If the mic isn't cutting it, we'll change it. Number 5, once you got all this equipment, once you got the understanding of the value, once you have everything else set up, you're going to look to start to record. So you're going to look into some recording software. And like anything, there's going to be tons of competition. So we're just going to share with you what we use. If anything, it'll be as easy as searching up on Google, um, audio editing software, video editing software, audio recording software, video recording software. So what we use is StreamYard for audio and video recording up front. And then when we want to publish it on anything else and we have some edits, when I made a mistake on the script, when I said something incorrectly, or if I had to sneeze or blah, 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 I go through the audio and the video and I make edits. The audio edits are done through Audacity. Again, there's tons of different ones. And then video, depending on which device I record on, I will either use iMovie or Adobe Premiere. But we use StreamYard to record and then use a plethora of different programs to edit. And then these other points here, I don't want to get too complex, but I'm going to give you an easy rundown of the next 5 points. Outlining your first episode. So the first episode should be something that, again, you can look back on how we did ours, but it should be quick, easy, explain who you are, what value you provide, where are you or who are you bringing that value to, and how they can reach out to. Because this might be the first episode that somebody listens to, and they should know if they're the right person to listen to it and what they'll be learning or getting from the podcast. Next point is recording your podcast. Once you have the software aligned, you'll be able to click that red button and get started just like I am right now. Number 8 is an option. You can record an intro and outro. What I've preferred at a beginner stage, again, is just to have a little paragraph at the beginning and end, have some consistency there. But then again, with some of our clients, as well as what I suggest at a higher level, is once you have a little bit of cash flow coming in, you can totally get something professionally recorded to draw that attention in. And especially on the very, very high end, once you're getting a specific amount of monthly listeners, you can totally get something done where you're promoting some sort of product on those intro and outros. Number 9 is editing your podcast. As I explained, there's many different audio and video editing softwares out there, depending on how you want to edit it. Versus, let's first say if you want to do TikTok, Instagram Reels, and YouTube Shorts, then maybe you go the Adobe Premiere route because they're very easy on subtitling, and subtitling gets you a lot of attention. If you want to just do long form content and maybe you don't want to do editing, then you can publish directly from your audio and video recording software. There's many different things you can consider. We'll go more deep into it in later episodes. Next point is deciding on podcast hosting. Again, just like everything that I'm telling you here, there's so much competition in terms of software, service providing, products, sponsors, um, scripts, everything. So we're going to be sharing with you what has worked for us and our clients. And from there, you can do your own research and extrapolate that data. So for us, what we use is Castos to be able to import all of our podcast information, publish it, and then be able to send it to directories that we believe are going to drive the most listens and downloads, as well as looking at all of the analytics over time. All you're going to have to do is make an account, upload your podcast details, again, uploading your file directly from your recording software, and publish just like that. And there you have it. Your podcast is going to be published. There are two big topics that I did not talk about because I believe there's enough information in each of these topics to talk in depth about each, which is marketing your podcast after you've recorded, as well as in an entirely different podcast topic, which is monetizing your podcast, which is more directly related to podcasts that are in the top 1%. But anyways, just to kind of summarize all this, as you can see, it can take 20, 30 minutes to record, but it can take hours upon hours to even just get started and to prepare for each episode. And we haven't even talked about what you're doing after the episode airs. So, for you to be able to build and maintain a podcast, that's going to be where the heavier end of the workload is. For us, it's going to be easy for me to talk to you off of a bullet point script that I have here. But at the end of the day, when I'm going to be marketing this, editing the audio and video, publishing it on our social media channels, transcribing it for a blog, doing all of these different avenues of content, that's what's going to be taking up all of our time. So we're going to continue to give you as much value as possible. And in turn, if you could give us a like, rate, review on any of these platforms that you're seeing this on, that would be amazing. If you have any ideas or if you want us to dig deeper into any of the points that we made, please share those ideas with me on our website. That is www.creativeoverhaul.ca. You can comment the idea, DM us on social media platforms, which will be at Creative Overhaul on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Thank you so much. Lastly, email us directly at contact@creativeoverhaul.ca. And on that note, thank you so much for listening to our second podcast episode. We will see you on the next one.